There are a lot of videos you'll find on the internet and blogs which will encourage you to pursue dopamine fasting, because dopamine fasting will provide you self-realization, fast improvement, build muscle, and whatnot, some magical bees. All these things really don't work if you think logically and do some research scientifically. But the internet doesn't work our way, and these things just sell easily. It's nothing more than a fad. It's pseudoscience. Dopamine's role is not black and white. It's extremely complex and dynamic. The little spurt of dopamine that pleasure causes probably is a fraction of the amount of dopamine involved in the movement. Dopamine is crucial for movement. Your dopamine system is not really under your control. I can answer this question because I have performed it not just for a month, but for the past 3 years for a certain time period ranging from 15 days to 2 months. Firstly, dopamine detox was the process of controlling the dopamine levels in your brain by restricting addictive activities. The dopamine detox can't make you to love hard things, which you don't like to do, hate things that give you pleasure, makes you a disciplined person, can make your life happy, becoming a superhuman by doing insane things, successful in your life. These things will not happen by doing it, but the internet pretends that it will give a new way of life. I had performed it not intentionally, but I lived in a hostel for more than 3 years, and my way of performance of this was quite good. 1. I don't have any access to smartphones, TV, or any other pleasurable things such as gaming, fast food, music, etc. 2. I am not even allowed to play sports outside, being a strict college. I am not allowed to go home frequently. 3. My daily routine would be sleep, study, eat, and repeat. 4. I don't have any other thoughts rather than studying. This was my way of performing this detox. At first I thought it could benefit me, but it was not. When I returned home, it was very normal. I felt an intense feel to enjoy the stuff that I was restricted in the hostel. It was a common human instinct to get addicted to the things that we love, like video games, TV, social media, etc. This list goes on. But restricting them for some days can't make you hate them. Every human craves entertainment, and it was a crucial part of one's life until it overcomes the values and responsibilities of a person. You can enjoy the things, but if they dominate over the valuable things in your life, then with your own mind, you need to manage your priorities. By maintaining strict discipline, you can limit the time you spend on activities that don't add any value to your life. And when you feel really exhausted, then it's okay if you consume entertainment just for the sake of relaxation. What is dopamine and how it works? Dopamine is one of the important hormones which acts as a reward system and motivates you when it was released. And too much into little dopamine can cause problems. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter made in the brain. It works as a chemical messenger between neurons, often called a feel-good chemical. For instance, you have been craving for a fizzy drink, and when you reach home, found a bottle of cola in your fridge, your craving for drinking that cola increases. And when you finally drink it, you feel good. Your brain receives a reward. Dopamine. What is a dopamine detox? We know how dopamine works. It is basically a reward chemical, and it works all the time in our brain, even when we're expecting a notification or call, when we smoke, masturbate, eat junk food, etc. It rewires our brain completely when we get addicted to certain habits, which we tend to ignore, for instance, looking at the phone just after waking up. Now, coming to dopamine detox, or fasting, the logic behind doing it is to stay away from the dopamine and control those habits. But the main question is, does it really work? Our brain psychology is trained to function in cue, craving, response, and reward structure, often referred to as a dopamine-driven feedback loop. If you go on YouTube and search for this term, you'll find hundreds of videos regarding this topic, and they have almost over 1 million views. They'll teach you to stop using social media for 7 days, or 15 days, stop pornography, stop things that you crave the most. Do you really dopamine detox yourself? Nowadays, our ability to retain attention for a longer period has gone lower due to our tendency to get rewards instantly. In other words, when you are constantly self-pleasuring yourselves with social media, porn, masturbation, food, drinks, alcohol, drugs, etc., you are doing nothing but digging your own grave. Rewards are the thing which we like and want. This chemical works all the time in the brain, even if you see your favorite person, your favorite TV show, etc. You can't always run away from all the little rewards and do dopamine fasting, which is totally irrelevant in today's world. Scientists have thought that dopamine was just about gratification for years, But now we realize that it plays a key role in several neurological processes, like developing new behaviors, new skills, motivation, inclination, aversion, and many voluntary movements. How to do dopamine detox actually? Dopamine is not something you detoxify yourself from. It is a very important neurotransmitter without which you cannot function normally. The correct name of this weird attempt is rather dopamine, inducing agents detox, because what you want to end up with is actually more available dopamine in the brain. Therefore, you have to stop as many pleasurable activities that release the dopamine in higher amounts as possible. And this way your brain can quickly restore the missing dopamine molecules and store them in the neuronal vesicles, ready to be used. Once the level reaches a certain point, the availability will not increase anymore. You don't have to do this to yourself. My suggestions would be: 1. Stay away from substances. 2. Eat a healthier, varied diet without overeating and undereating, just as much as you need to feel full. 3. Eat a lot of meat or eggs or anything that is rich in proteins. Those are building blocks for dopamine. 4. You can try to become abstinent from sex for some time. Sex is the biggest natural dopamine releaser. 5. If you do something, whatever you do, use the principle of moderation. Too much of anything is bad for you. Usually, I have seen most of the people who want to detox themselves from the dopamine are those people who are either addicted to pornography or not able to build habits. These people tend to find some quick ways to do things that will instantly change them and make them into super productive human beings, which is complete bullshit. I'd have thought of great results after reading many articles, watching videos regarding this. It sounds too scientific, but I think controlling the desires is in our hands, and by managing every day we can gradually improve our willpower and can develop good habits, and also can find the root cause of all the addictions. You cannot get a reward instantly for anything you do in your life. You cannot get a fruit instantly by planting its seed. You need to water that seed daily. You have to nurture it for days and months until a red apple falls from its branches. Conclusion: dopamine detox is a fad. You cannot exert an appreciable effect on your neurochemistry by altering your behavior unless you are doing something very drastic like quitting heroin. Yes, changing behavior does change your brain, and people who want to improve their focused attention, eat more mindfully, and learn how to not be hedonistic can learn to alter those behaviors. This will alter their brain in some small way. However, reading the ingredient list on a cereal box also changes the brain in similar small ways. My point is that dopamine detox is basically a catchy name to describe what is really just learning to be a bit more self-regulated, self-aware. This is something you definitely can learn and probably would benefit from through practice. If you want to put something like this in place in everyday life, first, stop calling it what it isn't. This will open you up to see the variety of experiences, activities you can do that offer the benefits touted by dopamine detox. Start a daily mindfulness practice. Read and follow the practices of the Stoics. Go on a monastic retreat. Volunteer. Engage in activities that are meaningful as opposed to just those that feel good, etc. You won't be detoxing from dopamine, but you will be building a more meaningful and engaged life.